gotta round it out. I had to do 3 vids, I know. So I don't want to go through everything, but Lost Boys. Lost Boys, it's a good film. I think it's a little overrated. Yeah, I do. It's a little overrated. I won't say much more. Okay, you want to talk about it? Now the opposite film's coming up. Okay, this is one of the best vampire films of the '80s. Okay, this film, a film that was pretty much discovered on video. I think when it came out in the theater, it was a flop. But man, on video, dude, this movie, man, it's just the violence of this film. The idea of these vampire like nomads and having like a kind of a family, and just the scenes of like the amazingly violent, bloody, gory scenes. I like when the kid asks him, he goes, "How old are you?" And Lance Henriksen is like, "We fought for the South. We lost." And they start laughing. That's all you need to know, man. I can't, man. Anyway, I can't, man. Bill Paxton, man. Rest in peace. What a great actor, dude. Anyway, so going through some of these now in the '80s, and I've never seen Vampire in Venice. I guess I should see the first Nosferatu 3, but now in the '80s, you start to get a little silly. Okay, like this, like he's this guy is great now, but I never this dude when he was younger. I thought he was. I didn't like him, so going through here. I never saw this one. This was always in the video store. I always heard this was really good. Right. Yeah. Home video turned out to be a major financial salvation for horror films in the late 80s. Yeah, dude. The late 80s, man. When I think about it, because now you have films that were never being released in theaters or limited runs, but they were going to video, and that's where, they were starting to get a following. So, and I never saw this. And of course, the Mr. Vampire, they had all these, Lam Chang Ying, man. This guy's amazing kung fu guys. He was in the same circle as like Yun Biao, Sammo Hung, Jackie Chan. I have never seen Vampire vs. Vampire, but these whole bunch of these vampire buster films with the Taoist priest, I would recommend them all. This is interesting. Another the Hong Kong stuff, man. They did some crazy ass movies, man. 80s and 90s Hong Kong cinema, some of the most bizarre stuff you ever see. And I never heard it. I never saw this. I've always heard about this film. I never saw it. About these vampire soldiers, but I don't know, man. It looks a little, different to me. I don't know. I guess I should check it out. I'm sure it's on, YouTube. So now, as we're getting to the '90s, the stuff isn't as good. Right? Oh, these films, right? They mixed the Gods Must Be Crazy dude with the vampires. Right? The Chinese really like that film, The Gods Must Be Crazy. I never saw it, so I think it's a South African film. So I know Arkham Reporter had mentioned this. Yeah, all right. I never liked these subspecies movies, man. These full moon movies, man. They were I don't know, stuff has grown on me from that time that I didn't like before. These films are not amongst them. I'm just saying. I don't know. This was a good movie, dude. This was great. This is a great film. Even this was not a great film. This was retarded. This movie, I didn't like this movie either. I didn't like Innocent Blood. It was shot in. I don't like. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't like. For some reason, there's this thing with vampires, and they mix it with the mafia. I don't like that. So, I mean, the only thing that's cool is you see some of the old Pittsburgh in this, but I didn't really like this film. So. And I remember this was this guy's first film, Guillermo del Toro. So this was an interesting movie. I would recommend this. Very interesting film. But like I said, Guillermo del Toro hasn't really grown on me in the last couple of decades. I've gone over this, man. Darkness. And like I said, the film that I originally saw in the rough cut, and then saw later on the DVD with the cut that the guy wanted, man. Right, Within the Woods, the Super 8 film. This was shot on Super. I had gone over this before, but right, like I had mentioned, this is like the heavy metal vampire film, like literally kids running around at night with shotguns and holy water and chainsaws fighting a growing vampire army. Yeah, right. Right, the plot is there's nothing new, but the zeal of execution makes all the difference. The mostly teenage cast and crew, right? Yeah, this man, this love darkness, man. But that's what made me think maybe I could make a movie. Silly, silly. Now, like you said, you get some of these forgettable films. I heard this was good. I never saw this. I always heard this was really, really good. David Lynch is in it as an actor. The Dog in the Room, Interview with the Vampire. Yes, I read the books when I was younger, in the late 80s. This was a really good film, and I don't want to focus on too much, right? I want to focus on this is one of the most underrated directors, in my opinion. This guy made so many movies of different genres, great actors, great stories, uh, kind of edgy stories for the time, but never really hitting you with any kind of thing. And he really did an amazing job with this, man. Neil Jordan doesn't get enough credit, I believe, And look how, I mean, this goes to the age. Look how, I mean, she looks so old now. She's a little girl here in 93. And, this dude he did a great job, man. Everyone was surprised. I mean, he actually was a great Lestat. Why this guy couldn't do other films like, with that acting range, I don't understand. I really don't. But, and the one thing I always want to bring is that, right, director and uncredited writer. There's a big thing with that, okay? There's a lot of dialogue in the film that he wrote, that he made up, that was not in the novel. And they wouldn't give him any credit for that. So, but regardless, and the late Stan Winston did the special effects on this. So, and I think they used some early CGI in this, but anyway, I spent enough time on that. So as you see now, we're kind of not really. Yeah, this was great. This was great. This was funny. I need to see this again. I like Mel Brooks. I know. Sue me, God, come on. So, Vampire in Brooklyn. Another film where like, there's nothing like Rumble in the Bronx that has like mountain ranges in the back, and then Vampire in Brooklyn where I don't recognize any of where I lived in here, but well. So now, like I said, we're getting into this. Not a fan of Dusk Till Dawn. Sorry, Arkham. The special effects are great, but man, never a Rodriguez fan. And I don't like this guy, and I don't like this guy. So the only thing cool in this was Tom Savini and Jim Brown. So what, they didn't even list him in there? Anyway, this I don't like. I don't like this guy, King, but this was an underrated film, and this actor, man, forgot what's his name. Come on, man, Miguel Ferrer. Yeah, this dude, he passed away. This was a great actor. You saw him a lot in the 80s and the 90s, but man, the end of this is so fucking nasty. Anyway. Of course, Blade. I don't have to mention Blade. Oh, Black Panther. You have Black Panther's the first black. I mean, you had like you had brother nerds, comic nerds, who are like, the hell are you talking about, man? Like Blade came out in '98, dude. Yeah, and Blade he was great, man. All right, so okay, one of the best vampire films of the '90s, which, as you can see, the vampire films again. You have more resources than ever. You have more special effects. You have more money than ever. But the films are not. They're hit or miss, and this is the '90s. Not this movie though. This is one of the best vampire movies ever made, dude. Based on a very bleak novel, this was a little more humorous in the film, right? And the closest thing to a Western Carpenter ever made, I keep saying it again, John Carpenter and George Romero are known as horror directors, but they're very underrated and very capable action film directors. I don't hear anyone saying that. I like this. Right, Woods in a rare leading man performance. My man is just amazing in the film. Of course, there is trouble with this film now, right? There is there is some problems now with the way that what is this? Did they say it in here? Right. Right, because they keep talking about the fact that they treat her like crap in the film. That it's like I know they made sequels. Bon Jovi was one of them. I'm not watching nothing with that sucker in it, bro. But like I said, this was amazing film. This film, okay, this is a very dumb film, but this is a very fun film. I have a funny story about me getting absolutely hammered, drunk, trying to find a bootleg copy of this in Manhattan with my boys, and not finding it, and then watching it a year later my late girlfriend, and watching this, and we loved this film. This film was it was totally ridiculous. Gerard Butler was Dracula. Actually, he's Judas Iscariot. Don't ask. But there's a lot of cool scenes in this film. So the scene with the very effeminate morgue guy doctor, when he sees the vampires revive and kill people, and he stays there and he starts whimpering like a little girl, and he goes, "Please, some dignity." And you look at the dude, and then he friggin' shrieks like a little girl. And he gets his throat ripped out. And I remember me and my girl were laughing at that. We thought that was hilarious. Alright. Bro, this is good. This dude, what an actor, man. I keep saying horror actors. This guy's been in so many horror type movies. I guess you should classify William Dafoe as like kind of like the horror actor. So, and yeah, this movie's great, dude. This movie is amazing. So, and this actually was an okay movie. This guy, remember the guy from Highlander? So, and this crazy Bai Ling, the crazy Chinese chick. This actually was what I'm saying. Like it like a dystopian, weird noir film movie. With the idea of that's been done, but I don't think it's ever been really done correctly, because you can't really do it correctly, can you? Right? It's too much like real life. The idea of vampires being known to humanity as like an ethnic group, and all the problems that ensue. So, yeah. All right, Arkham, Queen of the Dead. Okay, I saw this film. Like I saw a lot of films from Chinatown. At this point, I believe they had bootleg DVDs, so it wasn't the video cassette of someone going into the movie theater with a video camera and just filming filming the film with the crappy quality. I actually saw this in a good quality, rip. This was here's my thing. The soundtrack, of course, soundtrack captures that era, man. 2002 captures that time. All the bands in it, Disturbed, the Korn, the what other bands? Static X. Remember Static X, dude? The music was really captured that time. The acting in Stuart Townsend. What can I say? This film would be a really good movie if it was not supposed to be a sequel to an Anne Rice vampire, right? That's what I'm saying. This is before she died. They filmed her scenes, but this I don't know, man. This was pretty good. The scene where the woman wants, I want to be a vampire, and Lestat basically goes, okay, I'll show you what it's like to be a vampire. And he goes, and he basically hunts a woman down in a park, drinks her blood as she's screaming and trying to get away and fighting until she's dead, to basically make a point to the woman that you don't want to be a vampire because it's not romantic, it's horrific. I thought that was cool, but like I said, it would have been a good movie by itself, but not when it's in part of a series of these Anne Rice vampire films, which they have totally destroyed with that really really gay. I'm gonna say they're really gay. And this is the Anne Rice vampires. This show somehow makes it like ultra even more gay. And I told you about that. I did a video on this, so that's the Queen of the Dead. Run that time. Anyway, this was actually shot near where my girlfriend lives. This was actually a funny movie. Oh, you can make fun of Italians. Look, so steeped in Italian American tropes, you'd expect the plentiful fake blood to be made from marinara sauce. Man, man, like it's okay. It's always okay to make fun of Italians, isn't it? And that's about it. I can't think of anything else. This was good. And this was decent. And that's it. This was amazing. I got over that. And that's it. I ran out of time.